Now she's a professor of business at the amazing school that is Columbia School of Business on the Raja Show. Rita McGrath, don't miss the interview Raja's about ready to have with her. The executive producer of that program, Daryl Grandy, actually working the Samsung S5, and he's working 93.7 The Fan Sports today. He's Eric Hagman, 50 pounds later, thanks to Dr. Vactor, looking great. But we're going to talk, well, the weight of the world now is going to be on a guy by the name of Kevin Stallings. If what Paul Geis is reporting, he of course from the Post-Gazette and 93.7 The Fan is true, he's about ready to ink a new deal with the University of Pittsburgh Panthers after 17 years at Vanderbilt to become their new head basketball coach to replace Jamie Dixon.
Interesting hire on a lot of fronts, Rob. I mean, Stallings has a track record. He's a veteran coach. He's been in big conferences. Okay, we'll give him that.
Tournament 6 times.
He's taken Vandy to the tournament, so he's got that on his resume. But the fact of the matter is, without mincing words, he wore out his welcome at Vanderbilt and probably was going to get fired.
Is it a mirror image almost of what happened to Jamie in a way here after he was here all of these years? I don't think he was being forced out, he wore his welcome out, but he really had no more bridges to cross here.
Right, and I would say it's similar in that respect with Dixon, in the sense longevity sometimes works against the coach. The fan base can tire a little bit. The thing with Stallings, though, is that he lost the faith of the fans at Vandy and of the administration. So again, they were very tired of him. He's had some really good teams in the past, but this is not an inspiring hire.
Let me ask you, because you talked to me moments ago out in the newsroom, Sheldon Jeter, Beaver Falls, he spent some time there under him, didn't he, as his coach, and then he left. Now, where does that leave him at Pitt?
Well, he has 1 year of eligibility remaining with the Panthers. I'm told that he's on track to graduate in the spring.
Okay.
If indeed that is the case, and he does graduate, he would be obviously done with his academic eligibility, but he would still have 1 year of basketball eligibility. He could then transfer out and play immediately as a graduate transfer. We see a lot of that in football, perhaps more so than in basketball. I don't know if the bridges were burned to the point that they're not going to be able to resolve that issue, but he did have problems with Stallings and left after just 1 year.
Breaking news, Kevin Stallings looks to be the next coach at the University of Pittsburgh. With the basketball team replaced Jamie Dixon. Paul Zeiss, 93.7 The Fan, and Post-Gazette reporting that. They're going to be talking about it all day on The Fan. We'll talk about it on the Coos Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Before you go, Scott Barnes, one of the things that I read in a brief thing that Paul had up on Facebook with the Post-Gazette today is that he likes him because he's a good recruiter. Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a recruiter is he? Because let's face it, you got all of these teams, let's face it, the ACC right now, many of them getting set for more regional action today. North Carolina, Virginia, Notre Dame, Syracuse. So you're going to be really tested. Can this guy recruit the ACC?
Well, let me say, I'll classify him as an above-average recruiter.
Okay.
And I'll say that also with the thought in mind that Vanderbilt is a difficult place to get a lot of players eligible. He's recruiting athletes that probably, are a notch below talent-wise at some of the basketball schools, so to speak, Kentucky and Florida. But of course, with the academic structure as it is at Vanderbilt, he's got to bring in a little different type. So he's been able to recruit that type of player. He's developed some players who were maybe only 3-star recruits into very good pro prospects. So he has that going for him. Can he recruit against the likes of Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski and everybody else that's in the ACC? That remains to be seen, but it probably would be a little easier for him to recruit the Pitt than it was at Vandy.
All right, last question, so I want you to listen closely. Is Pitt maybe, because we love Pitt. Listen, he's a sportscaster, journalist. I'm a fan. I'm an entertainer. I love the blue and gold, okay? And I want them to win. But are they maybe not as an attractive job as they once were when Howland and Dixon were just storming through the Big East? And because of the fans and how we love them, we still look at them as a big-time program. I mean, it's Division I, it's good basketball, but maybe not for a coach who wants to make a splash. It may not be the place to go. Fact or fiction?
Probably somewhere in between.
Okay.
I don't think Pitt is a destination job. Obviously, it was proved because they weren't able to get Archie Miller, they weren't able to get Sean Miller. Ben Howland wanted no part of coming back. We don't know who else possibly was offered this job. I mean, we heard the other names like Andy Enfield and Bryce Drew, those sort of things. But it's still ACC. It's still, you're in a major metropolitan area.
Great facilities.
The facilities, they are great, but remember, the PITT is 13 years old now, so it's not like a brand new lush building that they're opening. So, I mean, yeah, good facilities. But the question is, how easy is it to move your way up the ladder in the ACC? You got Louisville, you got North Carolina, you got Duke, you got Syracuse,
Notre Dame.
you got Notre Dame. There's a lot of good schools. So, but again, great conference, a lot of money in the conference, a lot of exposure. So it does have that going for it. It's a good program.
When do you think they'll sign off on this?
When?
Yeah.
I'm hearing he's agreed to a 6-year deal.
Press conference.
Conference most likely tomorrow. You're not going to let that drag on.
All right. Listen, you got to go to 93.7 The Fan. Listen to him. Listen to all the talk today. And don't forget us today at noon. Greg Diolis, Bob Dvorak will be talking about it as well. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful and happy Easter, everybody.